CC, CEO, wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. What's happening? And this is the Grow Your Money podcast, where we talk about how to grow your money and not blow your money. Because when you blow your money, it ain't a damn thing funny. It's Friday, and I want to just invite you all in. Come on in, my friends. Invite you all in. And as you know, I love for you to talk back to me and talk black to me. So what's happening, everybody? What's crack-a-lackin', Big Mackin', as we say on the West Coast? Wherever you're watching from, I want you to put where you're watching from in the comments, because as you know, if this is not your first time here, understand that this is a dialogue and not a monologue. And so I love for you to talk back to me and talk black to me. All right. So please make sure that you put in the comments where you're watching from, because I want to shout you out. It's first thing. The second thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge the Black-owned businesses. It's important that we, as Black-owned businesses, that we do business with each other. That is one of the most important things that we can do, because we have to practice collective economics. If there's a lot of stuff going on today, and I didn't even want to talk about what's going on in the world today, because it's a lot of BS that's going on in the world. But the way that we become insulated is if we really focus internally on ourselves. What should we be doing at this point? How do we improve ourselves? How do we avoid all of the pitfalls that are going on out there? And the way we do it is we practice collective economics. How do we do? What's up, Claudette from Cali? What's happening? But that's what we do. We got to start doing business with people who look like you, because nobody's going out their way to do business with us. And so we have to do. It's good to see you. I need it back in the GYM, the Grow Your Money Club. What's happening? What's up, Tamisha from Denver? So if you have a Black-owned business, because I see people that watch this afterwards. I go and I look at the comments and I try to interact and engage with you, even if you're not watching it live. But people put their businesses on here. And if you're not on here live, make sure when you put your business, I'm not just telling you just to shout you out just because you have a business. I want people to do business with you. Where can they find your business? What's up, Annette? Where can they find your business? How do they contact you? Put your website, put information. I want us to be able to collaborate. Collaboration is key. Collective economics is key. Okay. So this morning I was having a conversation. Well, first of all, it's hard coming live here every day and always trying to figure out what I want to talk to you about, because I want to talk to you about things that align with our core values as a people. I want to talk about things that I think are important, that I think that are going to improve us. And I was struggling to figure out, I was looking at everything. I'm looking at all the news channels and all the perilous things that are going on in the world. We're living in perilous times. I was just talking to Jahar, and she was saying, man, we are on our way to having a civil war, because, California is beefing with the president, and then they had filed a suit and he filed, it's just a lot going on. And then, the planes dropping out of the sky in India, a bunch of people died, and they're dropping bombs, Israel dropping bombs on Iran. It's just a lot going on. And so I was like, I don't want to talk about all those things that are going on, but I do want to talk about, and so I was sitting there. What's up, Gino? I was in my room, and my daughter always comes in my room before, or she comes wherever I am before she goes to work. And, like if I'm in my room, she'll go, Mom, I'm leaving. And I'm like, no, you got to come here and give your mommy kisses. Now she's almost 26 years old next week. And so like, you got to give your mommy love. I got to see you. I got to smell you. I got to touch you. Got to feel you, all that stuff. So I said, I'm trying to sit here trying to figure out what I want to talk about today, because I don't want to talk about shit that's going on in the world. And she said, Mom, talk about what we talked about last night. I said, what? She was like, just talk about something motivation, but talk about something that we talked about last night. And what we talked about last night. And so my daughter came in my room crying last night. And she was just, as we do. And this is everybody. We're not where we want to be. We're not moving as fast. We're doing things. We're not getting the results that we want to get. We're not, things aren't happening fast enough for us. We're putting stuff out. We're not getting a return. And so I want to say, after she left first of all, she's putting content out there because she does content, and she's like, I'm not getting the responses, and I'm looking at her like, are you crazy? This is my mind. I'm thinking, are you crazy? Like, this is part of the game. Sometimes I have those moments where I'm like, it's what I'm saying is not hitting people, and she's telling me, Mom, you got to do this and this and this. So it's like, how are you coming to me crying about certain things not happening when you know the rule? Like, we've talked about this, but I didn't say that. I just listened. I didn't say, because in my mind I'm thinking, is you crazy? Like, what's going on? You know this stuff. You know the cause and effect. There's a reaping season and a sowing season. The principles, the biblical principles, the universal principle about putting in work and getting the return. Like, what? But we all go through that. And so, so at the, I encouraged her. And by the time we were done having the conversation, she was feeling lighter. She left, she was smiling, and everything was good. And it's always been like that. Like, I remember when we first, and I was always a very, I worked a lot. I was a workaholic. My name used to be, or my motto used to be, nobody works harder than Constance Carter. And I've always been about quality over quantity, because I knew that I had to go out and make things happen in order to create this life for my family. So I knew I couldn't be there all the time, but I made sure that we had special moments. And time went, there was a lot of time that went by, especially once I started having a bunch of kids, when it was my daughter, and then I had all these 3 boys back to back. So the focus got taken off of her. Years went by, and what I didn't notice was that, she was dealing with some personal things. And at the time when I was married, her dad said, hey, she's in her room crying. And I'm like, hey, well, what's going on? So I asked her, what's going on? And she was being bullied at school. And so then at that point, we started talking. That's when our relationship grew. I talked to her every single night. I made sure that we spoke every single night. I just listened. I was just there and I listened. And that made our bond grow closer. And that, it made such a huge difference. And that's how we became besties. And so people often ask me, how do you have such a great relationship with your children? I don't have a great relationship with just one of my children. I have a great relationship with all 4 of them individually. And they ask, how do you have a great relationship with all of your children? Because I do. Now, my kids are all the things, right? They are trifling. They are lazy. They are wonderful, and they're amazing. They're all the things that children are. I'm not saying that what they won't do, but I know one thing, and I tell them this all the time. I'm so extremely blessed. I ain't got to worry about y'all being on the street. Y'all don't clean up when I tell you to clean up. You don't pick up after yourself. I'm constantly finding myself cleaning up after them and doing all this other stuff, right? If I was a yeller, my house would be spotless. But I'm not a yeller. So then I find myself having to do extra work. It's not good. It's not good for them. But it is what it is, right? I'm not a yeller. But they're not, they're respectable, they're mannerable. And I actually give props to my ex for that, because he raised them to where they had to respect adults. They were very mannerable children. They were always in line. So I wanted to talk to you about just what it's like. What does it mean? Because everybody doesn't have great relationships with their children. And I will say, like, even for me, the way my parents parent me were vastly different. My mom still be trying to tell me, like, she'll get on the phone and be like, you need to do, and I'm like, whoa. Like, she called me the other day. Like, my son is out there with her. My middle son is out in California, right? She gets on the phone and she's like, you need to buy him a cell phone. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Huh? Now he ain't getting no cell phone because you came at me wrong. But she tried that, but she doesn't, the way she approaches things, right? And a lot of us parent, we parent people by going off. I got to tell you what to do. So at this stage in the game, when they're grown-ups, you don't tell, I'm almost 50. Why are you telling me what to do? No, you talk to me. You advise. You, most importantly, listen. So a few years ago, because I had gotten DMs from people saying, how are you so close with your children? And so I did a little video with me and my daughter a few years ago, and this is what she said. Hey, it's your girl, Constance Carter.
And your girl, Kyle Carter.
People always ask, like, how do you have such a great relationship with your daughter? Because this is my bestie and my bestie for the restie. So, Kyle, I don't know. Why do we have such a great relationship?
I feel like ever since I was younger, she always treated me like my opinions matter type thing. Like, I don't know, like whenever I speak to her, even when I was like little, like 8 or 9, like you spoke to me like, not like I was 8 or 9-year-old, but actually like understand me. And so that really, like, that started our relationship, for just simply like just listening to me.
That's simple. That's basic. Like, but you know what? I patterned my parenting from my dad, because I could really say that my dad did the same thing. He used to listen to me. Like, you know, when you were a kid, you talk a lot, you ask a lot of questions, like, and they're like, yeah, But when you actually sit there and listen to them, you answer their questions, it makes a difference. And then you treat them like they matter. I think it's really simple. I don't think it's like rocket science while we're so close. And I'm that way with all of my kids. I got 4 kids and a great nephew. But I'm that way with all 4 of my kids. Like, we all unique. You know, the other day, my son Kyron, he's my little middle, and he had a bunch of boys over, and one of his friends was like, "You got a really cool relationship with your mama," and he was like, "Yeah, I guess."
She loved that.
Yeah, I loved it though, because I have that with each one of my children, and I don't care if I had 10 kids or if I had 1 kid, it's gonna be the same. So it's because I love them.
Oh,
I love you. And that's it. That's why we close. That's really what it is. It's just listening, I guess.
Yeah, listen to your kids.
That's
literally.
Love y'all. So it's really not rocket science, guys. It's really not rocket science how to have a good relationship with your children. It's simply listening. So I'm gonna tell you a few things that I have done as a parent, and I'm not saying that I'm a perfect parent by no stretch of the imagination, because my kids will call me out on my BS when I'm operating in BS. So by no means am I a perfect parent, but I do have a wonderful relationship with all 4 of my kids. Now, they're all in different phases of their lives. So my daughter now, she's 25. She's going to be 26 in a couple of weeks. My oldest son is 20. He'll be 21. So their birthdays are July 3rd and July 4th. I have a middle son who's in California right now for the summer, and he is 19. He just turned 19. And then I have my youngest son. He'll be 17 in July. So I have a 17, 19, 21, and almost 26-year-old children. And they're all in different stages of their life. So 2 of my children are in college. 2 of my boys are in college. 1 is in high school. And then my daughter is almost 26. So her and our relationship is more, I was always afraid when they're little, you just want them to be babies forever. You just want to parent them for the rest of their lives. You just want to, you just want them to be, I just love you so much. And I was afraid when she became a grown-up that it was going to change. But what happened is our relationship did change the dynamic, but she just wasn't a baby no more. And it transitioned to womanhood. And so it got even better. Like, it got better, because now I go from parenting you to just advising you. So now I don't got it. So she'll do some shit that I think is way out, and I'm not going to tell her what to do. She's a grown ass woman, but I will advise her. Well, this is what I think that you should do. And whatever decision that she makes is on her. And I'm not going to punish her for making a decision that is not in alignment with what I told her to do, because she's going to have to learn the hard way. I've been living long enough to know that this is the right direction to go. But if you choose to go a different direction, it's on you. And you got to learn for yourself. So if you decide not to do it, and 9 times out of 10, she's going to do the thing that I advise her to do, because she respects my wisdom. But if she doesn't, because there's some things that she does that I don't agree with, you got to learn on your own, sis. And that's cool. But I'm not going to tell her, I'm not that. It's so important that we have a good rapport with our children. One of the things, so I do a few things, I've done a few things since they were small. One thing I do as a parent, and I sit down and talk to my kids all the time. In fact, the other day, all 4 of us were having a discussion. My middle son called me, just very emotional, some stuff. But anyway, we were all there. We were all consoling him. We were able just to sit down and have a conversation. But what I've always done is I'll sit down with my kids and I'll say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's what I do. And try this with your kids. Okay. How many parents do we have here? How many parents in the comments? I want you to try this with your kids and tell them to be honest. Say on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate me as a parent? Right. So sometimes they will be like, oh, mom, you're a 10. I don't want you to rate me what you think I want to hear. I want you to tell me what you think I am based upon whatever your thoughts are. And then I'm going to follow that up with, well, how can I be a 10? Okay. I don't want you to tell me I'm a 10 just because you think you don't want to hurt my feelings. I want you to tell me how I could be a 10. What's up, Miss Simone? Okay. So ask your children on a scale of 1 to 10, and it should matter. I don't give a damn what them little bastards think because they ain't running nothing anyway because I pay the bills. No. Because it matters. So I would say, so yours would say a 3. Okay. So then you ask them, how can I become a 10? So one of the things that my kids always used to say is, Mom, you're always busy. You're always gone. You're always on your phone. Now, I was doing those things to support them. I was on the phone all the time because of them. Okay. I was working. I was always gone because I was working to support them. So they would understand. I was always traveling. And I would sit down and I talk to them and I like, you know why Mommy's traveling? And they would say to me, Mom, I know that you're doing this to support us. They knew. They always knew. It wasn't ever because I'm your mama, because I'm grown. I'm the mama and you the baby. Children are to be seen and not heard. I didn't parent that way. That's not how my father parented. My dad listened to me. He always listened to me. My dad used to say, my kids are my world and my world are my kids. Everything he did was revolved around his children. And we knew that he loves us. We know that he loves us. But that's just how he parented. So all you guys have kids. So I challenge you, sit down with your children and ask them, thank you. And ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate me? And if I'm a 6, if I'm a 2, if I'm a 3, like Karen said, how do I become a 10? Or how can I get closer to a 10? And see what they say. Okay. A couple of years ago, my son, it was so cool because my son had called me one day and he said, Mom, I need you to send me a picture. And I wish I would have had the picture. It was a picture of him. So him and I should have posted it. I should have. But it was a picture of him and my daughter, and they were watching me speak. Is this picture right here? My 2 kids. He wanted me to send them this picture. And I said, and I was on stage speaking somewhere, and they were watching me speak, and it was his first time actually seeing me speak. And I didn't even think I did good that time. I was like, damn, I flop. And he was like, Mom, he told my daughter, Mom is really a really good speaker, because it was his first time. Now, my daughter had been going with me to conferences for 10 years at that point. So she'd been there, and she'd seen me. She could tell my speeches. She listens intently. She could sell me better than she could sell my books. She'd be like, get out the way, Mama. Anyway, this is what this book is about. And so a few weeks later, he had said, Mom, I need you to send me that picture. And I was like, why you need me to send you that picture? He said, because at school, and he's in college, he said, we had to do a report on a person that we admire, and I wanted to do it on you. Oh, that just messed me up. And it's not because I did anything magical. It's really not. It's listening. It's validating. What are you going through? Now, my son also told me that at one point he did not like me because I made him go to an HBCU, because I was making him go to an HBCU, and he felt like he had no choice. He said, Mom, I didn't like you because I felt like you were but now he's like, I'm glad I went. Boy, I know better than you, right? So they're not always 100% happy with you, right? You're not perfect, you're not a perfect mom. But as long as you continue to strive to listen and validate. What's up, Vaughn? To listen and validate is important. The second thing I do, so I challenge you to do that. Ask your children on a scale of 1 to 10 how they rate you. Okay. Number 2, one thing that I've done since they were little, and I've done this in a couple of years. I've done it since we've been here, and then they were resistant, but I'm gonna do it again when my son comes home from California. He'll be home next month. One thing I did, and I've done over the years, is I would sit down with all of them, and I would have them tell each other, all of us, how they felt about each other, the positive attributes. And that was so empowering, because when they saw not just from their mom, but how their siblings felt about them, it boosted their confidence. Now, I'm not saying they're the closest because I'm like, you got built-in besties with your brothers, and they're not. They fight. They're close, but then they're not. It's weird, right? They don't. I'm like, I'm telling my kids, I'm like, hey, did you know that Kyron's doing this? Did you know? And they're like, no, they don't tell each other stuff, and they're not as close as I want them to be in terms of like being bestie brothers. But it is so empowering to know what your siblings think about you. And I was just actually, because I have a family YouTube page that I did years ago, and I have these videos on here from years ago that were private videos that nobody's ever seen, including them. And I've just made them public just so I send them to them to show them, you know, some of the stuff. Let me share with you. This is what they used to do. Let's see.
He like helps us whenever we're needed, like homework and all that stuff. And
That's me in class.
like all the stuff I love about Warren. And now come in. He's hard-headed, but sometimes
You're copying Warren.
Just talk.
Sometimes he just cries.
I'm out.
It's supposed to be positive.
And I know I'm about to turn into something positive.
Okay.
He cries, but he always like tries to do something to make it like better.
Oh, it's
Like,
gonna be Warren.
These kids. So he cries a lot. He's hard-headed, but there was a lot. It's like 8 parts or 10 parts of that, and we're all just pouring into each other. It is powerful, you know. And then back then I was married, and so you know their dad was part of it too, and so we were sharing what we liked about each other, what we liked about our children. And I remember my oldest son, I think it was in that video, possibly in those videos, and he had this little tear coming down his face. This was after his dad had spoke to him, and he said, I always knew my daddy loved me, but I didn't know he loved me this much. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Not that his dad didn't show him love, because he did, but just for him to say directly, here's what I like about you. Not just your everyday, I'm raising you, I'm doing this, but here are the things, here are the attributes that are beautiful about you, son. And it was a beautiful thing. So I challenge you also, if you have an opportunity, if you could sit down with your children and you could say, hey, let's do something. Let's talk about what we really, really like about each other. Let's pour into each other. And it will not only bond you, but just their confidence and their self-esteem will grow as a result of them hearing from each other. Even more than, because you know, they know I tell them all the time, you're amazing, you're dope, I love you. Dang, you're smart. I be telling them, like, you're so articulate. You got a cold mouthpiece. Boy, where you get that? Oh, boy, you are smart. They do. My boys, because sometimes when I be hearing them talk, I'm like, I got cold mouthpieces. Meaning they're very articulate. They can talk. They can speak very well. Highly intellectual kids. But they hear that all the time. But sitting down directly and hearing from each other how important each other is absolutely amazing. So that's another thing I definitely advise you to do. The other thing is, like I said, is advising and not dictating. So when your child comes to you and they have an opinion that may be different than yours, they will trust you more. Here's the thing. I can't expect my children to trust me with information if all I do is blow up on them. They know that they're going to get negativity from me if they come to me and they share something with me. So how am I going to trust them when things get really tough? Like my kids, they come to me with the craziest stuff, more stuff than I want to know, because they trust me. So you want to open up that level of openness and communication so that your children would trust you, so that if anything happens, life or death, that they can come and trust you, that they don't have to be afraid that you're going to lose it, that they don't feel belittled every time they come to you. There are so many, and some of us have done it wrong. Some of us have approached it wrong, and that's okay, because you still have time to change today. You have time to do things different. Our children are the biggest gift that God has ever gifted us with. And what an awesome responsibility that you get to shape some human beings to be what they are. And then you see the fruit of how everything happens. You see the fruit of everything that you poured into them. I've missed really important days from my children. I missed first days of school in my effort of being ambitious, being traveling. I've missed birthdays. I had to leave my kids. I had 2 kids' birthday. I have 3 kids' birthdays in July. One on the 3rd, one on the 4th, one on the 31st. I had to go speak somewhere. I had to leave on the 4th of July. The 4th of July to go speak somewhere. I was at a retreat, a leadership retreat, when my son entered his first birthday, when I had my baby boy's first birthday. I missed first days of school. Like, I've missed some, and these are things that are for my son's first birthday. Of course, he's not going to remember it, but I remember it. And so for me, it was important that I knew I didn't have a whole lot of time. And here's the thing, you can't always give 100% of time. Maybe you have 25% of your time that you can dedicate to your children or to the people that you love. But if you give 100% of that 25%, that's what's important. What does that mean? That means being present when you're there. That means communicating, right? That means giving eye contact, letting them know. That means validating. That means affection. That means letting them know that they're important. That means letting them know that they're a priority. Because even though I was gone 11 of these hours in this day, and I'm only here 1 hour, I'm going to give you that 1 hour. And you're going to know that you're important. My children know that they are a priority. They know. My daughter wanted, she was saying last night, I really want to move out. And she was even saying today, like, Mom, because she has real estate. She has her own property. She's rented out. And she's like, I really don't feel like I should be living with my mama. She got a 2,400 square foot basement with a kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody bother her. Girl, if you don't sit down there and save your money, but she feels like she wants to be independent. And that's cool. But know this, my children will always have a place to come back. I don't feel like that I'll ever push them out of our home. I'll never put them out in the street or say that you can't be here. My kids can be here as long as they need to, as long as they're working and they're not bums, right? I'm going to always support my children because that's what we do as parents. But real quick, I'm going to take a quick break because the reason why we are here is because I always want to empower you on how to grow your money and not blow your money. And I have programs that are available for people who want to be insulated from the things that are going on in this world, because there's a lot going on. And the way that you can be insulated is that if you have multiple revenue streams, that if you can, if you're building wealth, that's the only way. Have you joined the Grow Your Money Club yet? If not, why not? The Grow Your Money Club is a comprehensive program designed to take you through the complete wealth building journey. We don't just offer random courses, we guide you along a clear path, starting with fixing your credit and becoming a certified credit expert, to building your business, increasing your cash flow, diversifying your portfolio, and ultimately letting your money work for you. With over 30 trainings designed to increase your net worth, you get to either purchase the trainings individually or go through the 12-month roadmap. Here are just a few of the courses. From campus to cash flows. This is teaching your children to become real estate investors. The wealth map training shows you how to eliminate your debt, increase your credit, and diversify your revenue streams. You can learn to write your book using ChatGPT. Learn how to build your online community. What about 8 ways to make money using AI? Oh, and here's 7 online revenue streams to fund your $1 million dream. How about learning how to purchase tax deeds or land banks? What about getting started in government contracting? If you're a rookie, the Real Estate for Rookies training has everything you need. The Business Blueprint training will help you build your business foundation, get business credit, get business funding, and learn how to pay yourself so that you can scale your business to the next level. Or perhaps you want to create jaw-dropping video content using CapCut, Midjourney, and ChatGPT. There are so many trainings and master classes within the Grow Your Money Club, and I also drop one new training per month. You do not want to miss out on this opportunity to invest in yourself, because guess what? You are your biggest commodity. You are your biggest investment. Join the Grow Your Money Club today. So, I want to give a shout out to Nick Slanton. He is a troll that is on my Facebook page right now. Y'all, if you guys are not on my Facebook page, please go on my Facebook page. I am Constance Carter, and follow my Facebook page. So I talk about Black empowerment all the time on my Facebook page. And I talk about ways that we can, we can build ourselves and build our community. And I talk about the atrocities. I give historical, if you guys see my Black History Spotlight, I get DMs from people like him all the time. It's typically people who don't have pictures, but I get DMs from people like Nick all the time. You know why? Because Black empowerment, Black positivity, it's like when you put water on a gremlin and they get to going crazy. So I'm not doing anything to disturb white people. I'm talking about Black empowerment, Black improvement, Black self-sufficiency. I'm talking about his history, Black history, and it drives these fleas crazy. I get these kind of DMs all the time. They be threatening your girl. They hate when a sister talks Black empowerment, Black improvement. So I just want you guys to go over to my page, on my Facebook page. Go say hello to Nick Slanton, and let him know that actually, Nick, I would actually welcome you to look at more of my videos so that you can see more about what your folks have done and what you continue to do. Y'all hate us. Y'all hate Black beauty. You hate Black empowerment, don't you, Nick? Yeah, that's too bad for you. It must be really sad to have all that hatred inside of you. But I just wanted to acknowledge him, because I get these kind of things all the time. So just for y'all, it's a lot of them. But anyway, show him one now. You want me to do a Black History Spotlight? All right. So let me just show you why my producer Jahari, she said to show you guys why they hate me so much. So I'm going to do a Black History Spotlight just so you can see why they hate your girl so much. Let me go on my page. This is my Facebook page, and I'm going to show you why they hate me so much. Which one do they hate? Which one should I watch? Let me show you why they hate. Let me show you a couple of them, because I talk about, let's see. This one is important. Wait. Hold on. Y'all can't see it. Let me show my screen. My grocery store, all Black. In my neighborhood, it's definitely all Black. I ain't never going back to Cali. Over complications, gone too soon. Wait, we was just hanging. I can't seem to hold on to. My gym, all Black. Let's do another one while he's here. What's another? Oh, these are just the videos. I need to show y'all the reels. How do I get to the reels? Oh, the reels. Okay. Let's see. I try to do a lot to educate Black folks. He said going back south. So we talked about the Great Migration. Between 1916 and 1970, over 6 million of our people packed their bags and they left the South. And I'm not talking about a little vacation. I'm talking about leaving everything, homes, land, families, to chase a better life. Why? Because in the South, we were being terrorized, lynched, segregated, criminalized. We weren't free, we were surviving. So we moved, but not all of us went to the same place. So let me break it down for you. Some went Midwest to cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. They were chasing factory jobs. That Ford assembly line was calling. The steel mills had openings, and the word spread, come north, you can make real money. And you know what? They showed up, they built communities, they bought homes, they created music, movements, and millionaires. Some went east to Harlem, Philly, and DC. That's where the thinkers went, the musicians, the revolutionaries, the ones who sparked the Harlem Renaissance and laid the foundation for the civil rights movement. Now let me go all the way out west to LA, Oakland, San Francisco. They worked the shipyards, the railroads, and the aerospace plants. And in the process, they helped build Hollywood, hip hop, and the Black California legacy that we see today. But let me tell you what's even more powerful. Now, in real time, we're seeing the reverse migration. Black folks are leaving those same big cities we once ran to and heading back south. Back to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Houston, Jacksonville, and Birmingham. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why. Number 1, the cost of living. $3,000 a month for a 1-bedroom in Brooklyn? Nah. Number 2, Black opportunity is booming. Black business is thriving in the South. Number 3, family and culture. Folks want to raise their kids with values, land, and legacy. Number 4, we want our own again. Not to just live, but to own, to grow, to build. So now, what once was our escape route is now becoming our wealth route. We're going back smarter, stronger, and more strategic. We're buying land, we building businesses, we are reclaiming what our ancestors were forced to leave behind. That's the story of our migration, and it's still being written. We're not just movers, we're builders, we're legacy makers, and if you pay attention, now is your time to move too. But don't just move to cities, move with purpose, move with a plan, and move to build. Now drop a Black fist in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear this Black History gem. Get ready for your return trip to this. Between 1916 and 1970, over 6 million of... I'm going to show you a last one that they really pissed about. And this was in response on TikTok. Somebody said, because I was talking about how Black affluent neighborhoods were destroyed. And somebody was like, where are there Black affluent neighborhoods in America? Ain't no Black affluent neighborhoods in America. That's what they said. So then I just showed this one. And oh boy, they really got pissed. This is Bowie, Maryland, one of the wealthiest African-American neighborhoods in the country. Ooh, baby.
Don't know where it all went. Time passed us by. Just when it seemed the fun began.
All Black. Oh, they get pissed about that. They get pissed about it. So I just wanted to just put that out there. I just had to showcase Mr. Nick because I get these DMs all the time. These people are pissed because I show Black excellence. Says a lot about what's going on in this country. And this is what's being exacerbated by the administration. People feel real free. But this is also historically what's going on in our country, you guys, is every time we've tried to mind our Black business, build our Black towns, build our Black economies, they would get pissed off. They would come in our towns. They would come in our neighborhoods. They would have coup d'etats. They would burn. Y'all know Black Wall Street wasn't just burned. It was bombed by the federal government. They don't want to see your Black affluence. And so if any time we look like we're doing better, they would have loved it if I would have talked about Black slums. They would have loved it if I talked about people on crack, in poverty, committing crimes. They love that shit. They thrive on it because that's all they could think of. But to see Black people doing well, And furthermore, to see Black parents loving their children. And this is what we have to teach the next generation. The last thing I want to talk to you about, though, speaking of this, is having conversations, wealth conversations with your children. Having conversations about building wealth with your children. I watch a gentleman on YouTube, and he talks. There's 2 things that he talks about about why Jews they're less than 1% of the population, but they have over 50% of the wealth. And it's because, one, they practice collective economics, which I talked about in the beginning. Okay. Number two is they talk about business at the dinner table with their children. They're already vetting and they're preparing their children for business, for wealth building. So these are the conversations. The conversations about love are necessary, about nurturing your children are necessary, but also about building. What are you going to do? What is it that you want to do? Now, for me, I want all my kids to take my business to the next level. Them little MFers, they like, I want to forge my own, I want to do my own thing. My oldest son, he wants to go to law school. Cool. You could be the family lawyer. That's cool. But that's my advice. I think it's great if you just take this business and you push it forward. I think you already got the foundation. Y'all can take it to the next level. But they want to do their own thing. But having these conversations, these critical conversations about money, about wealth, is muy importante. So I gave you a few things. I think I gave you 4 things. Number 1, recap. Sit down with your kids and ask them to rate you on a scale of 1 to 10. Where would they rate you? And if you're not a 10, not close to a 10, how do I get up? How do I improve as a parent? Even if your kids is grown and they already hate you, listen and don't be defensive, because a lot of us are defensive because of our own insecurities. We're not going to listen to them because we don't want our feelings hurt. We don't like criticism. But the only way to grow is if people tell you what you don't want to hear and you listen. Okay. So number 1, talk to your kids and ask them how to rate you. Number 2, sit down and have a conversation and have them talk to each other, and all of you just have a session where you're pouring into one another. Me and my kids, we freestyle together. We have rap battles. We have cartwheel challenges. Y'all can't beat me in no cartwheel. I'm almost 50. I cartwheel better than both of my sons, my teenage boys. What? Just doing stuff like that. Sitting down. I be telling my youngest kid, come on, let's go sit down and watch TV. He be like, no, we can watch Pop the Balloon. That's my guilty pleasure. Okay, I guess I'll watch Pop the Balloon. Anything I can get, if you can just give me an hour of your time, I'm going to fall asleep within the first 15 minutes. But if you could just sit down with me and we could just get a little time together, I'm going to take it. One time my son told me, he started talking about like his favorite subject in school was financial literacy. Now he's talking. Now my youngest son, he don't do a whole lot of talking. So when he did talk to me, we was in the car. I was like, shit, I got to keep this going. So I'm driving. I'm driving all over freaking DMV because I just want to bask in this moment where this boy is talking, and we're talking about compound interest. We talking about credit. He's just talking. I didn't care what we was talking about. The fact that he was talking, because he's at that teenage age where he don't talk. So, but having those things where you're just listening, just listen and validate. Listen and validate. Give your advice. Don't, right? So that's the second thing. So number 1, ask them to rate you. Number 2, have them pour into each other. Number 3, don't dictate. Don't dictate, advise. Okay? Don't dictate, advise. And then number 4, have conversations about wealth, about who they are as people, as men. One thing I try to teach my sons is how to be a gentleman, opening the door for women. One thing my son told me when he got to school, he was like, Mom, everybody ain't like you. They don't deserve it. And I'm like, yes, they do. He's like, Mom, they take advantage. And they did. They took advantage of my baby because he was just being nice to everybody. You could be kind, but you ain't got to be nice to everybody. And so they took advantage of him. But that was, that was me not teaching boundaries also. So there are some things that I lacked as a parent. And it's probably because I didn't exercise a lot of boundaries because, those are my flaws. But these are lessons that I try to teach to my children. So the 4th is having conversations, critical conversations about money, about finance, about wealth. Okay? Listen. Your kids do not need a perfect parent. They need a present parent. And presence doesn't mean that you are always there physically. It means when you are there, you're emotionally available. You're listening to them without judgment. You are creating a safe space for them to be who they are, for them to share who they are. That's where the real wealth is. That's how we raise emotionally intelligent children. That is how we break generational curses and generational cycles, and that's how we build legacies. Our legacy, what we do today, affects our children tomorrow. So this week, here's my challenge to you. I want you to ask your child, no matter how young or old they are, how am I doing? And then be willing to listen. Because sometimes the most important growth doesn't come from what we say, but from what we are open to hear. All right. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I love y'all for real in real life. I pray, in order for us to build strong communities, we got to build strong kids. We got to build strong families. We got to build strong children. So that's all I got. See y'all on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel.